Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has come back on set. Kaveh, oh my goodness. How do you react to that?
Well, look, the first thing you should say is that referees are human beings. They make mistakes like everybody else. They were working there in a very highly pressurised environment, and they made a mistake, and it was a big mistake.
In a development that has reignited fierce debate across the football world, FIFA have finally broken their silence and admitted that Arsenal were robbed of a clear penalty and vital points in their highly controversial Premier League clash against Brentford. The acknowledgement has sent shockwaves through English football, validating weeks of outrage from Arsenal supporters and raising fresh questions about officiating standards, VAR reliability, and accountability at the very top of the game. For many fans, the admission comes far too late. The damage, they argue, was already done the moment the referee waved play on and the VAR officials failed to intervene. What should have been a pivotal penalty decision instead became another chapter in a growing list of contentious calls that continue to undermine confidence in match officiating. The incident itself occurred during a tense phase of the match, with Arsenal pushing hard for a breakthrough. An Arsenal attacker drove into the penalty area and was clearly impeded by a Brentford defender. Slow-motion replays later showed unmistakable contact, with the defender making no genuine attempt to play the ball. Players immediately appealed, arms raised in disbelief, while supporters inside the stadium reacted with anger and confusion. From living rooms around the world, viewers expected the inevitable VAR check to result in a penalty award. Instead, play continued. The VAR officials deemed the on-field decision not worthy of intervention, a verdict that baffled pundits and former referees alike. Within minutes of the final whistle, social media was flooded with clips, freeze frames, and comparisons to similar incidents that had resulted in penalties elsewhere. The consensus was overwhelming: Arsenal had been denied a Stonewall spot kick. For days, the controversy refused to die down. Former officials appeared on television describing the decision as indefensible, while analysts highlighted inconsistencies in how VAR was being applied across the league. Arsenal supporters felt aggrieved, believing their team had once again fallen victim to poor officiating at a critical moment of the season. Initially, football's authorities remained silent, fueling further frustration. Arsenal fans interpreted the lack of response as avoidance, while neutral observers questioned how such a clear error could go unaddressed in an era designed to eliminate exactly these kinds of mistakes. That silence only intensified scrutiny of VAR and the officials responsible for operating it. Now, FIFA's admission has changed the tone of the conversation, though not necessarily the mood. According to information emerging from an internal review process, FIFA concluded that the challenge on the Arsenal player met all the criteria for a penalty. Even more damning was the assessment that the VAR team failed in its duty to recommend an on-field review, despite the incident qualifying as a clear and obvious error. In essence, the system that exists to correct mistakes compounded one instead. The review reportedly identified multiple failures. Firstly, the referee's initial judgment was incorrect, as the contact was sufficient to warrant a foul. Secondly, VAR officials misapplied the threshold for intervention, ignoring evidence that contradicted the on-field call. Finally, the incident highlighted a broader issue of inconsistency, with similar challenges elsewhere in the league resulting in penalties. While FIFA stopped short of ordering a replay or altering the result, the admission itself is extraordinary. Rarely does football's highest governing body publicly concede that a specific refereeing error directly affected the outcome of a match. For Arsenal, the acknowledgement offers vindication but little comfort. Inside the club, there is a strong sense that justice has not been served. Officials believe that while apologies and admissions may soothe public anger, they do nothing to restore the points lost on the pitch. In a fiercely competitive title race, those points could prove decisive. The difference between champions and runners-up, between glory and regret, is often measured in moments like this. Players, too, are said to be deeply frustrated. Many feel that officiating errors have repeatedly gone against them in key matches, creating a perception, fair or not, that standards are applied inconsistently. Over time, such experiences erode trust in the system, leaving players unsure whether VAR will protect them or betray them. For supporters, the reaction has been explosive. Online platforms have been flooded with comments describing FIFA's admission as too little, too late. Some fans have called for stronger action, including the suspension of officials involved, public release of VAR audio, and even discussions around retrospective remedies when errors are officially acknowledged. The controversy has also reignited a wider debate about VAR itself. Introduced to improve fairness and accuracy, the technology has instead become a lightning rod for criticism. While it has corrected some high-profile mistakes, incidents like this reinforce the belief that technology is only as good as the people operating it. Without consistent application and transparency, VAR risks becoming part of the problem rather than the solution. Beyond Arsenal, the implications stretch across the league. Other clubs will now question how many results have been shaped by similar errors that never receive public acknowledgement. If FIFA can admit this mistake, fans ask, how many more have gone quietly unaddressed? The timing of the admission also adds to its significance. As the season enters its decisive phase, every point matters. Arsenal's dropped points against Brentford could have a ripple effect on the title race, European qualification, and even relegation battles involving other teams. In such a context, the margin for error is virtually zero. Ultimately, FIFA's decision to break their silence confirms what many already believed: Arsenal were wronged. Yet the episode leaves an uncomfortable truth hanging over the game. Acknowledging mistakes after the fact may satisfy the record books, but it does little to restore competitive integrity once the final whistle has blown. For Arsenal, the focus must now return to the pitch. But the sense of injustice lingers, a reminder that in modern football, even with all its technology, human error can still shape destinies. And until meaningful reforms are implemented, this controversy will not be remembered as an isolated incident but as another symbol of a system struggling to live up to its promise of fairness.